Welcome to Heartfelt with Julie Margerison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julie Margerison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us, questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Welcome to this next episode of Heartfelt with Julie Margerison. I'm so excited to have Razwana. Sorry, my voice is croaky and then getting my tongue around that is a bit tricky. But Razwana here is from New Zealand, and I'm going to put my glasses on and read a little bit about her. So Razwana Anada was raised in a strict Pakistani household in Scotland, sparking an early desire for freedom and truth. Her healing path began through physiotherapy, fitness, and yoga, and deepened in India through the study of traditional Advaita and Vedanta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. After a transformative divorce, she embraced feminine embodiment and became a certified DV coach, a master NLP practitioner, and a student of powerful modalities like DeMartini method and Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. Sacred feminine embodiment work, combining neuroscience, ancient wisdom, and intuition. Razwana helps women create deep, lasting transformation. Reconnecting with her shamanic roots, she now guides women to reclaim their wholeness through sacred ritual, feminine energy, and earth-based practices. Her mission is to awaken women to their sensuality, their self-worth, and abundance, as good people with money will save the world. Welcome, Razwana. Wow, I'm so keen to chat with you about all what brings you joy and, about your life.
Fantastic. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you. I came across Razwana through another colleague of mine, and Razwana reached out and it's like, I need to check her out. And when I saw the post about sensual pleasure and her talking about yoni, it's like, oh my goodness, I need someone who can actually talk about how important that is for self, because in my self-discovery journey that started really 6 years ago, I had no idea of self-pleasure. I did not even know yoni as a word. And so I had lots of yoni healings and connecting with my yoni. So I'm so pleased that we've crossed paths and you can share as little as much as you like. So I'm very excited about it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Are you ready for the first question?
Yeah, go for it, Julie.
Okay. What brings you joy?
What brings me joy? Gosh, there's so many things. Being in nature, connecting with my partner, self-pleasure, helping women in whatever modalities or ways that I can. The life coaching is I'm really passionate about because it brings together so many different aspects of who I am and what I'm able to offer. I'm also deeply connected to the ancient Indian texts and scriptures and understanding. What I was saying is I'm a student of traditional Advaita Vedanta, which is non-dualism. So it's basically the spiritual understanding behind all the ancient Indian teachings. So I've been learning this with a traditional guru for many years, and a being able to transmit that knowledge is very powerful. Um, and helping women create abundance and build abundance and step into their confidence. Yeah, and then things like sewing, cooking, like things like that. That I'm in my happy place and I'm sewing. Yeah. So those dancing is the other one. Yeah, just yeah, stepping into creativity in a deep way. And yeah, those are probably some of the things that give me a lot of joy right now.
Wow, thank you. Is there a particular dance that you like?
So, so I grew up like listening to and watching Bollywood movies, and when I was younger, I used to like dance around with these Indian headscarves, veils. We call them a dupatta, and you, yes, but I love all sorts of dance, really. I, I'm quite happy to just stick some music on and go crazy and dance like nobody's watching me. It's probably no particular style, maybe my style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned salsa in the past. I've done belly dancing in the past. But I'm not currently doing any kind of formal structured dance just yet. But yeah, just dancing, just
Yeah,
moving.
that movement.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you have a fear that you're aware of it holding you back?
Do I have a fear that I'm aware? That's kind of a hard one. A fear that I'm aware of holding me back. I did a bit of self-coaching today and realized there's something I'm struggling to do. It was actually scheduling. And why and I delved in deep as to why I wasn't doing that. Um, and we looked at motivations for that. And I think change is a challenge, right? When we step into that discomfort zone, where growth happens, we feel uncomfortable. And yeah, I think like with many women and people in general, that there's a part of me that's scared of what I can really do.
Hmm.
Almost like if I really was to step into my full glory, what the hell, would nothing could
Hmm.
contain me. Like, whoa, what would this look like? And so
Yeah.
I guess there's just that fear of yeah, is I guess it's a slight fear of success. I'm also excited. It's like if we can overcome that, then and step into our higher calling, it's beautiful because we can then help other women overcome that. And we all rise together. We can be inspired by each other rather than feeling competition and feeling negativity, or like, oh my God, they're so amazing, I'm so awful, which is a very typical response. But if we can be inspired and go, wow, they're doing so great, how can I do that too? So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have the normal fear of heights that a lot of people have, but yeah, I guess I feel like I'm I'm someone that likes to overcome fears. I was the first in my family, even though I'm the youngest, to have left home. I emigrated from Scotland to New Zealand with my ex-husband at the time. But we didn't know anybody here. Um, yeah, it's just the kind of those big moves, traveling on my own, hitchhiking around Spain and Portugal on my own, like just figuring it out as I go along. Like I quite enjoy stepping into that discomfort and fear when I'm
Yeah, wow.
mm,
That's really doing that in my terms. Goodness. Ugh. Yeah.
ignorance is bliss. Every time people would keep picking us up and saying, "This is really dangerous. No one will pick you up." get in, where are you going? Like, okay. And it was before mobile phones and the internet had really developed. So I think we just didn't know. There's probably several people getting murdered in that road. We didn't know. So we were
You weren't
fine.
one of them, hey?
We just happened not to be one of them, thankfully.
Have you ever had a life-changing moment?
Have I had a life changing moment? I think I've had several of them. Um, I think what one of them that happened was, so there was a time in my life when I was with this, now ex-boyfriend who he was he was very needy, and he was taking all my money. We lived in London and he moved in really quickly, and he was like eating all my food, didn't pay the bills. And I just, as my savings and my money went down really quickly, it ended up in quite a lot of debt. And I was praying for money at that time, and I had no idea how it was going to happen. I was just working in a gym, 9 to 5, not earning a lot. And I just didn't know how I was going to get myself out of that situation. And I also kept trying to split up with him, but he wouldn't take it. And it was, and because I was so poor, I couldn't get out of it. But one day, and this is a crazy story, I don't think this has happened to anybody else in the world.
It's very unique, hey?
Yeah, we had a manager who said, "Hey, we need to we need to change the mats underneath the treadmills. So let's lift them up, and half of you pull the mats out, and the other half can put the new one in." So I was in the team to pull the mat out. So the guy lifted the treadmill. It was like one big strong guy lifted it up. I put my arm in to pull out the old mat, and before I knew it, the treadmill was actually down on me. Yeah, but it was so weird how it happened. It kind of almost happened in slow motion, and it had this weird intuitive feeling that something was going to happen. Like time really slowed down. And the other odd thing is there was not a moment of pain. I never felt any pain in this, but the treadmill was down on my arm, and they lifted it up. And there's still a scar there. It's about 2 inch long. And so I looked down, and the skin had gone either side, and I could see my bone. So as a massage student learning anatomy, and I was looking at going, I wonder if that's the bone or the fascia surrounding. Literally thinking that. And then I just moved the skin back, and I was like, hospital. So so that was a life-changing moment, because it meant that I sort of fell into meeting some people that did a no win, no fee claim. So I actually sued the people I work for. At the time, I was just sort of leaving to go and work on the cruise ship, so it all kind of worked out. And then I was running away to sea, essentially, to get away from that boyfriend. So yeah, so I left him, and then I was able, with the money, to get myself back up to where I should have been. So that was a life-changing moment. Yeah.
Goodness gracious me. Okay. Has there been a moment that you wish you could freeze in time?
Has there been a moment which I wish I could freeze in time? Trying to think of a clean one.
It doesn't have to be clean.
I do a lot of work in sacred sexuality, um and there is a time when there's two times in a woman's cycle when we have a very deep connection to the spiritual world, and it's when there's um, a cap, a mucus cap on the cervix, which removes. And once it happens once in the cycle at ovulation. So that's how women can get pregnant, and then it also happens during when you have your period, because to allow the blood to flow out. So during that time, you you have a very deep connection to spirituality, and I often have when we have we make love during this time, I trip. I'm in another dimension, and there was one point when we were we were in the clouds making love in the heavens, and there were other gods like turning around and looking at us like, what the hell? But it was pure ecstasy. It was just, yeah, it was beautiful, and it was a very vivid, amazing moment. So yes,
Wow.
it wasn't clean but beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
That's
welcome.
amazing. Do you have a trigger that you're aware of and you'd like to share about it?
So triggers are a real they're a great thing because it shows you that there's some work to be done, right? When you I like my mother used to trigger me a lot. Um, your family triggers you, right? Because they know what buttons to press. Um, so I feel like I'm able to go back in my family home now. And this happened last time I went home about 3 years ago without getting triggered, right? I was able to develop a much nice relationship with my mother, and it was huge. So I'm answering this question by almost not answering because I I feel, what are my triggers? I don't know. I dislike people who don't have values, or selfishness. Or when people are like, oh yeah, we can use as many resources as possible and make the world, leave trash and rubbish and all that sort of thing. It's very short-minded because we're not looking towards the future generations. We've been given this beautiful world, but we're very lucky to have it. We're very lucky to be able to breathe and have trees and all of that. But people who are almost in denial of that and are like, oh no, it's nonsense, everything's fine. But they're not, they're just doing it from, maybe they don't understand, it's maybe ignorance, but it's having the foresight and compassion to think about their children or their children's
Mm,
children who are going to be, what the F did you do to the planet? You haven't got much left.
mm.
So I guess people just being really selfish around that is something that annoys me. But yeah, there's not many things that trigger me, but then again, we all have our moments, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
that you've certainly covered, yeah, a lot. So thank you for that.
Hmm.
If a genie jumped out of the bottle to grant you one wish, what would that be?
Well, that would be 10 more wishes, wouldn't it? Or infinite wishes. May I have more? That's what I would do. And then if I had the 10 wishes, then I would be like, okay, can I have my ideal home? Can I have? I'm just looking at my vision board now. Can I want to travel to XYZ. I want this amount in my bank account. The normal stuff. Why not?
Yeah, no, that's right. It's your wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What is something you've never said out loud, but you wish someone would ask you about?
Oh gosh. I wish I'd looked at the answers that I contemplated on before.
It's okay.
What's something
It's
that,
got to come from what your heart and what it feels. It's no right or
yeah,
wrong.
what is one thing, um, hmm, one thing that I wish people would ask? Yeah, I feel like we're in this society where people don't really check in with each other. We're very much, hi, how you doing? And move on. Um, hi, how are you? And actually keep walking. But I feel like we could, if if someone was to ask me like how are you really? Like, really, what's really going on for you? And I want to hear everything. Because we're so used to filtering and we're like, oh no, you don't want to hear my nonsense, or, you're on the clock and all of that stuff. But yeah, just a really simple, like, compassionate check-in with no ulterior motives, not trying to buy or sell anything. It's just like, how are you really? What's really going on for you?
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
could all do with that.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. When was the last time you felt truly seen, and what was it about that moment that has stayed with you?
When did I feel truly seen? Um, I find that question challenging because I feel like it's almost the bigger question is like, who am I? There's always parts to be seen. Nobody's going to be able to see everything of you, if that makes sense. So when, it intimately, I'll be seen in that way from my partner who sees me deeply, and professionally, with my coaching buddies. I'm also a physiotherapist. Like, if I am to ask them and they were to look at my work and what I've been doing, they're able to kind of see. But yeah, it's funny. I find that question a bit weird.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, but I feel maybe it's because I never don't. I'm gonna do a
You
double
always
negative.
feel seen. Yeah,
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 I do.
yeah.
It's not something that I'm looking for or craving for, because I feel like I'm really into the Vedic values, the ancient Indian values. It's ahimsa, not non-hurting, accommodation, kshanti, and I feel like when you express these and you're fully honest, satyam, honesty, then people don't you don't have to hide yourself. The being seen as you, if from the NLP view, we talk about living at cause. You're in control, so it's up to me to be seen. If I hide and I'm shy and don't show everyone who I am, and then complain I'm not being seen, then it's really just me not stepping into the confidence of showing myself.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that. If you could send one message back to your younger self, a message and not advice, what would that be?
I would say it gets better. It gets better. Probably give myself a hug, because I didn't have a nice upbringing, and I spent most of my childhood kind of wishing it away, waiting for that fast forward button for when I could leave home. It wasn't all awful. There was, and there's certainly people who've had much worse childhoods than I have, but I didn't feel like I fitted in. I felt so different from my family. I was just like, everyone was shouting and screaming all the time, and I was like, why are they doing this? What's the point in this? And I just didn't enjoy it. And so I was just kind of, waiting for the fast forward button, and just to kind of get through it. And then I got through it, and it made me who I am. So yeah.
Hmm. What does healing look like for you right now?
What does healing look like
Hmm.
for me right now? So, I mean, I've done a lot of healing modalities through my life. Right now, I'm stepping into working with a shaman and doing some journeying, and I think that's a really beautiful place to be healing. I still use a lot of NLP, and interestingly enough, I find ChatGPT and um, so one of my mentors, Richmond Dean, he has his own AI. So Richmond AI has been amazing as well for some coaching. So healing, I guess, also looks like stepping into your power and self-reflection, looking at, okay, these things are not happening. How are we going to make them happen? Let's do that. And then, and then how can I not mention it? The sacred sexuality work, the yoni egg work, and the sacred wand work is very healing. So that is a deep transformation for me. And each time I do those practices, I go deeper and deeper and deeper in releasing whatever it is that is there. Sometimes I don't even know what it is. It can be like generations or lifetimes of pain or shame or guilt or negative energy, whatever. Like, yeah, healing is I guess that's my daily practice. Definitely doing, my yoni egg work. So that's how my healing is kind of looking right now,
Hmm.
as well as stepping into who I can be, like the best version of myself, stepping into leader, stepping, really being seen in my business, and doing the best I can um in all aspects of my life, but
Hmm.
also not beating myself up about not if I don't do something, it's like, it's okay, you're human, it's fine. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about, Razwana?
Well, I think, gosh, it's like a big question.
Hmm.
There's so many things I could share. What would I like to share about? Um, Gosh, so there's I'll maybe just step into the ancient Indian wisdom for a moment. So a lot of people who are sort of spiritual and just sort of understand or follow lots of different things, and there's so much beauty and respect and love in those. And what I've been studying is something called traditional Advaita Vedanta, which is Advaita meaning oneness, non-dual. There is no second. And I've been learning this through a very ancient lineage. So it's like teacher, student, teacher, student, teacher, student, which was initially memorized and then written in text and just kept very, very secret. Um, and so that journey in stepping into the spiritual understanding, it really underpins everything for me. And the understanding, I know this is all about love. The understanding here is that we are manifestation of creator, but not just separate from the creator. We are made from the same thing that the creator is made from. So this is one way of understanding it. Now, to please understand, to fully get this in the way it's meant to be understood, you go to a teacher who is trained, and feel free to get in contact if you want to be recommended someone in your region or whatever. Um, and they're very humble. They don't charge a lot of money. It's donation based, so you know that they're there for one purpose. They're not there like some of the gurus that people have seen in the past who have been, you know, we don't need to go into it, but that's not the true meaning. So now, um, another way of seeing that is this is a little bit like energy. So energy can never be created or destroyed. Energy always is. And energy is what we are, and it's also what source is. Source, universe, creator, whatever words you want to use, God, goddess. So we are not, so in this understanding, we are not separate from this. And so everything is one. And another way of saying this, that this manifestation is love. So it's pure love. So we are pure love. You are pure love. Everything is a manifestation of pure love.
Hmm.
So, and it's beautiful that your podcast is about love. It's all about the heart. And so we are love. And in our natural form, before we've been hurt, as babies, before, we've learned otherwise, we are love. We give and receive endlessly. We have compassion and love for everyone. That is our natural state. That's who we are. And so ahimsa, which is the value of non-hurting, one of the Vedic values, you can see how that would arise. Like when you are an expression love, of course you don't want to hurt anyone, because you understand that you and I are the same. You are goddess, I am goddess. Why would I want to hurt you? Why would
Mm.
I hurt anybody? So really stepping into this understanding of who you are, and knowing that your love is huge, and and from that extension, stepping into sacred sexuality is another way for us just to access this pure love. And the energy that is in a woman's womb is unmanifest creative energy. And this is what has created the world, the universe, and we
Mm.
have access to it. And so that is how your sacred sexuality, that is how your, yoni egg practices and really uncovering this work can help you create, manifest, and just be this love and understand this love. So that is a link between love, really, and that's why I was kind of resonating with your podcast, because it's all about heart, it's all about love, and that's what we are.
Yeah, beautiful, beautifully said.
Mhm.
Thank you very much for sharing, Razwana. I
So
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stayed with you, opened something up in you, or simply made you feel seen. If this episode moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to continue the journey with us, be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Razwana's details will be in the comments below. So if you want to connect with her, feel free. And I look forward to watching her grow. So until next time, take care of your heart and remember your story matters. Thank you, Razwana.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.